No, look. OBS disconnected. Ooh, sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Can everyone hear me and see me? Is everything good? My Twitch isn't. My Twitch is freaking out. Okay, I guess I'm here. Am I not? All right, okay, there we go. Yes, Carmeet, flip stone. Hold on, I will show you in just 1 second. All right. There, now it's straight. Like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about this detail stuff right now. Ooh, too much. Okay, so go back to our stone. Flip. So you have your stone, or anything you're trying to fit to another part. You have your stone. If you flip it, right now the negative normals are what you see. And now when I'm down here, right, with the transparency on, this is a really good way to creep up on surfaces. Really, just clay tubes is gone off my menu. The only tool that I use. Change back. Why are you not changing back? So if you're trying to creep up on your part, right? This transparency is flipped. So even after it goes into transparency, your negative normals are what are being seen. So this way, I know that all of this is inside that stone, right? Does that make sense? And see, now that that hit that gray, it's outside of the surface. So this way, I want all this inside the surface because I'm going to Boolean this out, right? So I want to make sure that that's a nice clean Boolean when it comes around to it. So that's just me preparing this part that was made for a completely different part, stone. And one, it allows us to, you know, I'm sitting here, you're like, oh, well, is it, what is up with that? That is making me crazy. Flip, as in flip inside out with the flip button. Flip normals. Excuse me. Motherfucker. That is so annoying. I hate when it does that. It like replaces a brush. Ooh, that's gonna get old. Damn it. Right, let's go back to our stone. Right? See how the normals are flipped inside out? You're actually looking at the inside surface of that. Flip. That's the outside surface. So this just flips your normals. And that allows you to see where your intersections are. Right? See how that's a dent there. And if I want this to be clean. So I'm going to take slide. And we can just drag it into the surface of the stone, right? So we don't have, you can see how there's that little missing slot right there. We'll just come in here and we'll just drag, 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 drag. And now that we look here, we can see that I've now dragged all that to the interior surface. So I know that at that point, when this is Boolean, let's just flip this. Start. Nope. That's the start. That's not a start. That's a cut. Live Boolean. Turn transparency off. Oh, that's so annoying. All right, so see, I now know where that Boolean's function. So look, we go here, we turn transparency on. What do you see? This is all grayed out because this is behind this surface right here. But if you flip it, and now let's go back to this part. Nope. Let's go back to this part. You see how it's now light blue? Because you are looking through this surface, and the positive normal is actually, or the visible normal is the negative normal of the model now. That's what flip does. And so you can see through the transparency, right? Do you see the difference? That's with this flipped. And now let's make it normal. And we're just going to go back over here, touch this guy again. But look, you're looking through it, but you're looking through the top surface. The positive normal is the visible normal. So you're not getting airspace, right? But if we take this and drag this up here, do you see the light blue, right? So this is penetrating the positive normal, which is your visible normal. But here, it's not penetrating that top surface that you are not looking through. One more time. Boom. Flip. Boop. There you go. Well, no, it is a normal. That's what it's called. Here. Lesson in normals. Boop. Here's your surface. This is a cross cut of your surface. These are positive normals. This is a negative normal, right? This surface. This surface is your positive. And so when you're looking through the egg when it's normal, right? What we're seeing, we're coming here, it's bouncing, and that is the surface that you see from, right? Now, this is our little groover here. It comes up through here. Right? So you can't see anything. But when you flip the normal, that means that this side is visible. Okay? Not this side. So you're looking through this side. Boom. And then seeing this, right? So you are seeing the green come through this surface. Okay, does that make sense? So let's go back to this guy. Now I can turn double on and you can see through. And now let's go back to this guy. Double. Now you can see the normals on both. Boom. See how we're not seeing through the model anymore? Right? With double turned off, you're looking at the inside surface, but see, you're looking through the front surface. So if we turn double back on, we can't see through the front surface or the interior surface, or the outside surface or the interior surface, right? Here. Does that make sense? Yes, green is the profile. Yeah, Mischief's great. I like it. So here, this actually might help. Brush. Let's go to a different material. We'll go to Skin Shader. We're going to flip this. So we are on the outside. Oh, damn it. What did I do? You got to start over. Okay, let's get back to our... There we go. All right, flip. This, color, fill object, boop. This is a positive normal. Right? This is the outside. This is positive. This is positive. This is positive. Oh, that's positive. When you flip it, oh, motherfucker. I didn't realize that the paint came through. Hold on. Can we backface mask? Will that work? I don't think it will because it's actually on the surface of the normal. Grrr. Yeah, okay. Put double. Oh, that's annoying. And it really ruins my example. I can't just draw on it. That would have been super nice. All right, so I can't draw on it. This is positive. Flip. This is negative. Right? You notice you can't see the negative because you're looking through the positive. Make sense? Yes, exactly. Okay, so flip it, you can't see through. Flip it, can't see through. Double, can't see the inside until you cut it away, and now you can see both sides. All right. So let's go back to this. Nah, that's not what I wanted to do. Do you understand? Hello, Saeed. Do you understand normals? And do you understand why, if you flip it, you can then see where you are? And that's super helpful when like, let's say I know that I want, damn it. Let's say I know I want this, gosh, I don't know what I did to this. Kermit, look what you made me do. So once again, if I know that I want this straight, I can just push this up. And you're like, well, is it up far enough? Yep, but look, right there, it's not. So you come back in here and you push that up, push this up. And now you know that when you boolean this, you're going to have a nice, clean, sharp edge everywhere. Normal is not a direction. Normal is the surface of an object. There are positive normals, which are the outside of the shell, and there are negative normals, which are the inside of the shell. It's not really a direction, it's a physical property of the shell. Okay? Why that's important is, let's take this for example. One of the things, before booleaning, we had to project to surface, and I still project to surface. So the projection tool in ZBrush projects to the negative normals. Okay, it looks for the inside of a shell, right? So that means it's looking for an invisible side to project to. So let's go to here and let's look at this. 3 million should be fine. Okay, so we'll turn transparency off, right? I want to project this to this. Okay, project. No. So it's projecting mesh details, right? Well, do you see the problem? It's looking for the inside of this model, but it started on the outside of the model. So here, let's hide this. So we got, see, like right here, we got a little bit of projection because it was just inside the surface, but it's looking for relative to this, to the negative normals. Well, that's not what we want it to do. So let's go back here. We flip this, and now you notice the negative normals are visible to it. And so now it's going to try to project to the outside of this shell because it's projecting to the invisible side, or the negative. And so when we project now, it's still probably not going to be, oh crap, that's the wrong way. We want this to project to that, project all. Nope. Boop. And these are outside of my projection range, but you can see that we just had something happen. That is because it is looking for the negative normals. So it's not just a direction, it's a visibility process within a shell. There you go. All I wanted to do is get you to where you could see that you have a good projection, or a good Boolean, but just kidding. Boop. Okay, so this is going to be here. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're making it visible inside out. So yes, technically you are turning it inside out, but you're not actually turning it inside out. You're just basically making the outside surface invisible and the inside surface visible. Right? You got that? Yeah. Oh, no. No. Never apologize. The whole point of doing this is that you understand. And if you don't understand, I assure you that there are 20 other people who don't understand. Actually, I guarantee you there are thousands of people who don't understand. And so it's better. I mean, that's why I'm here, right? I'm here not to get a job done, because God only knows I'm not getting anything done, but to make sure that you understand the processes that I use to generate the work that I make. So never apologize for asking questions. Asking questions is the whole point you're watching this, I would assume. I would hope. So I'm going to come in here. There we go. Turn symmetry on. And I'm going to fill these ribs in a little. Because one, I want the ring to be a little more robust than just the thin shell. Because I don't want it to be dropped and collapse or anything like that. And two, remember what I was talking about doing the insides of things. It's important to have those little interior stories. And if you have all the ribbing of the ship on the inside, it's kind of cool. And once again, it gives someone that story to tell, right? And because this is a ship and not like a basket weave, all of these are going to be going like this, right? These are going to be behind, if that makes sense. So it gives you an interesting story on the inside. Yes. It is either on ZBrush's YouTube page, or if you go to Twitch, oops, hold on there. If you go to Twitch, wow, you really can't see that, can you? It's really small. And you go to ZBrushLive.com, and you go to podcasts, or you go to presenters. You can come down under Tomas, and this should be all of the Twitch. Yeah, 5 pages of it. Right? And you can flick through, and these are all of the old ones. Episode. So what episode are we on? Episode 38. 40. Wow. Look at that. I've done 40 of these. Okay. So right there, and then click on me, and it'll show right here. Does that make sense? Boop. No, that's not what I'm... Boop. Oh, there we go. Hello. Hi, Tomas. How'd your Pikachu go? What process did you use to start? Were you watching someone else's stream when you got your the demo? Or the trial, I guess. Nice. So you said you tried, so did you succeed in making a Pikachu? Well, it's a very wonderful, incredibly powerful tool. I've been using it for about 13 years, and I'll tell you what, it has changed dramatically in those 13 years, and what you can do with it now is incredible. And every update they have, it gets more powerful. It's incredible. And it's one of the most responsive development teams you'll ever run into. They really care about the people using the program. And so it's incredible how much the program has changed since I started with it, you know. And I'll tell you, if you get used to it and integrate it into your workflow, I think you'll probably be a happy person. Because I'll tell you, like the other morning, I was up until like 6:30 working on some new pieces, and it's crazy. You're sitting there and my friend woke up and was like, what in the hell are you still doing up? And it's like, oh, this is just great. It's hysterical. You know, after 13 years, you sit there and you're playing with your program trying to get something done, and when you could still honestly go, man, this is great. It's awesome. Well, then you should definitely watch my stream. That's actually what I'm about. Everything I do, I print. I've been printing from ZBrush for 13 years, even when it didn't have the capacities to print from. I was figuring out ways to get it to do it. No. Printing is awesome. Well, if you make good stuff and then you figure out how to sell it, you can definitely make a good living. It's tricky. I'm really good at the making stuff. The selling stuff, I'm not. It's not my forte. Let's put it that way. Luckily, I work with other people. Yeah, selling's a tricky thing, because I'm kind of crap at it. Because, well, one, I hate people trying to sell me crap. It just drives me nuts. It's like, look, I do my research. I buy the things I want to buy, you know. Yeah, man, that's tricky. You got to figure that every gaming geek in the world who's decided that they want to be part of the gaming industry, you know, is out there. And man, and I'm not saying you're not good. I don't know. I haven't seen your work. But yeah, to get a job in the gaming industry is tricky because they're very desired jobs. I came out of the film industry. I've done some game assets and stuff, but like I don't know how to prep models for games or any of that crap. I go to print. That's what I do. Hello, Farouk. But I'll tell you, people get jobs every day in the industry. So I'm not saying don't try by any means. If anything, just keep working, because that's what it's about. It's funny, it's like people ask, how do you get jobs in the gaming industry? And like I said, I know nothing about it. Other than, the people I know who do it. But it's funny, I think the ultimate answer is make stuff that is better than your friend. It's like the people who want those jobs, man, they are killing it. And as an old person, seeing these young whippersnappers coming up, it's crazy. It's awesome to watch. It's awesome to see what the community has become over the 13 years that I've been using ZBrush. It's pretty crazy. The forums used to be a lot more intimate because, there were just fewer people. But, yeah, it's fascinating to see it now. Do I have any tips for you? Work your butt off. Man hours. It's hours and hours and hours. That's what it is. I know that sounds silly and probably not what you want to hear. But, I mean, we laugh at me because I'm as OCD as any person can get in certain ways. And I'll tell you, just since quick saves have come into ZBrush, which is only, I think it's like 5 years, I have 88,000 hours of quick saves. That's like 3 years of the last 5 years I've been sitting in this chair. And I'll tell you, that's it. It is hours behind your stylus, my friend. Work. That's my advice to everyone, honestly, is work. Because the more man hours you have in the program, the better you're going to be. And at the end of the day, the better you are, you're going to work more. It's just that simple. It's and yeah, of course, there's people who know people or went to school with people, or that's the other thing is, surround yourself with the people that are the industry that you want to be part of. If you want to be in the game world, don't hang out with film sculptors. If you want to be in the film industry, the gaming people really aren't going to help you do that. Everybody. So, get a very clear idea of what you want to do, in the sense of, I want to sculpt monsters. I want to sculpt monsters digitally for film. I want to physically sculpt monsters and print them out, and da-da-da-da. Or, I want to make jewelry or whatever it is. But, there is a world for generalists. But, at the end of the day, know what you want to do. I think that's the most important thing. And then just spend ungodly amounts of hours doing it. Good. And like I said, clarity is really important. It's like, I want to work, in a computer. Well, what's that mean? What do you... So that's the other thing I'd say is clarity is a big damn deal. And I think the other thing I'd say is be realistic. If you look at the people around you and, they're making work that is killing it and you're not, or vice versa, you're really killing it and, honest self-evaluation is incredibly important. Because if you actually know where you stand in the world, you can really make intelligence decisions about, how much you make, what are you willing to do, where are you, what's up, blah, blah, blah. I would always say your home computer. Once again, splitting off. I mean, I think that a Cintiq is one of the most important things you could ever own. There's just, especially if you're doing this, just the ability to have pressure and angle sensitivity, there's just, and what's really funny is, I think it was on the Hulk. Ang Lee's The Hulk, in the art department, was the first time I ever saw a Cintiq, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have one of those. I didn't even have a computer. I had a laptop, but I was a physical sculptor then. I wasn't a digital sculptor at that point. And I was like, I have to have one of those. I was like, that is going to change how I interface with the computer, and it did. But the whole, I want a laptop because I'm going to go and do blah, blah. No, you're not. Stay home, work. Don't try to, mix it up, because you're not going to, Not necessarily pretty, but my geometry is crap right now, so it's okay. Yeah, exactly. And you know how you get faster? Do more of it. It's just, I can't tell you, it's just how many hours you put in. It's such a big deal. When we were working in the union, you're doing 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for anywhere between 3 and 11 months. You know what you do? You get good when you work that much, or you'll just never be good, which is always another option. But no, I can't. It is all about that man hours. Just the more work you put in, the more familiar you are with the program, the more familiar you are with your stroke and your aesthetics. There is no substitute for just man hours. People always ask me, when do you remesh? See all this garbage in here? We need to remesh. But I know that I need to remesh, so I'm gonna come in here and futz with this as long as I can before we need to. But you can see this is all built up in poo. These are poo surfaces. If you've ever wanted to know what a poo surface is, look at that geometry. That is pure poo. But that's okay, because I had to get there. But poo nonetheless. It's funny, I can be fast. I usually choose not to be. I don't do preliminary sketches for many things. I really just kind of muddle around until I see lines I like. And I like that process better because, you know, when I'm sketching, you're looking at one angle, and one angle does not a sculpture make, for sure. So I like to develop in 3D. Yeah, well, I worked on them, so it could be something to do with it. But yeah, it was intentionally piratey. I did a bunch of stuff. I did a mermaid thing for Paul's book, and then everybody wanted mermaids, so I was making mermaids for a while. So this is the continuation of the mermaid thing. But yeah. Well, yeah, it's, especially in education, it's not the best way to work. No, let me rephrase that. It is not the easiest way to teach. In the sense of, as a teacher, I want to see that you have direction, that you're wrapping your head around what's going on. So I can understand why your teachers didn't particularly care for it, because it becomes a much harder way to teach, because I have to believe that you do understand what you're doing. And a lot of the times as a student, you don't understand what you're doing. So it's much harder to go, that's wrong, if you're just kind of muddling through it. And as a teacher, I understand, I get it. But as, a sculptor, I see in 3D, so I want to explore my forms and shapes like this, And so I'm not really, for the most part, I do my own work. So the only boss I really have to worry about is me. And, I spent a long time to be able to get to the point where I can be my boss. But like I tell everyone, my boss is a massive jerk. He's like, get back to work, you lazy slob. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm one of the few people who is actually productive working from home. I know a lot of people who are productive for the first couple months and then... Hey yo, how are you doing? Des Moines Chaos Theory. Well, hello. I can explain some of my chaos theory. Cool. Well, you sleep well. I know that at some point I need to go to bed. I've been really bad at it the last couple of days. I've been really excited about some of the new pieces I've been working on, so it's like, and I was really sick for a while, so it's nice to be able to work. I lost like almost a week and a half of work just because I was so sick. I haven't been that sick in a long time. It was no fun. Getting chilly again. I have big windows. And when it gets chilly, when the temperature drops, the temperature can drop in the house quickly, and I wear shorts and t-shirts. I'm a lousy winter person. Really? Okay, wait. You know, that's a tricky question. ZBrush has an interface that is interesting to learn. It can be tricky. A lot of people are very intimidated by the interface. But nowadays, I'll tell you, when I first started compared to now, it's so much easier to learn now. I mean, there are tools and stuff that, you know, we just didn't have, and like just building base geometry and stuff. I would say you need to be careful about how you pick the videos you learn from. I would learn from ZBrush Central's, there's like the education classy thing, or the tutorials on ZBrush or on Pixelogic site. And those are a really good, solid foundation of how to learn. Paul and Joseph are both excellent teachers and really good at making very clear and concise videos about stuff. Yeah, exactly. It can. There's just so much. It can do so much. Actually, I created my own user interface pretty early because, like, they didn't have any of the printing stuff, like the printer hub and decimation master and all that. So there were tools that I used that were a little idiosyncratic compared to, like, my workflow was a little weird because most people weren't printing out of ZBrush, and I was a very, very early adopter of that. And so instead of having to have geometry that was controlled for gaming or optimized for rigging or any of that, I had to have nice, clean shells that I could print. And so it gave me, I was approaching ZBrush sort of backwards compared to most people at the time. Now, you know, printing's everywhere. Most people, even who do creatures, want their little creatures printed and stuff. So, you know, luckily it's all kind of come together, which is nice. But yeah, do you know what I'm talking about, Des Moines? One second, let me show you, just to make sure. Pixelogic, 3D, no, Learn ZBrush, Z Classroom Training. And yeah, these are like a breakdown. And like I said, Solomon Joseph and Paul are really, I mean, they make the program, they know it, you know. So these are very clean, concise, easy hits. And if you can work your way through all of these and really understand what you're doing, you know more about ZBrush than a lot of people. And then what I would suggest is watch a bunch of streamers on the ZBrush streaming live streams, and sort of identify who you like to learn from and what workflow you like, because there are a lot of different workflows. And luckily now with ZBrush Live and the Twitch stuff, every week they're adding new people. It's really exciting. So there are tons of different workflows for different things. So I would start with ZBrush Live as opposed to doing Google searches on you can do Google searches and identify certain problems, but what you're going to find out that there are a million ZBrush videos out there, and there are thousands that are good, right? Because everyone who has ZBrush and YouTube feels like they're going to make a video and teach. And a lot of my students come to me with problems or processes that they've used, and I'm like, well, that doesn't work, because for printing you need X, Y, and Z. You don't load your corners, so creasing and edge looping is a pain in the butt. It's not a help. You know, so it depends on your process. So I think watch the ZBrush streams, because one, you learn a lot, but two, you're going to identify the people that sort of are laying forth a path of workflow that you like. And then with that workflow, you can be more specific about the people you learn from, I guess. Yeah, you can. Good night, Raytheon. I'll see you next week. Yeah, there are people out there who are making videos on how to make jewelry in ZBrush, and a lot of them have absolutely no clue what they're talking about. And I'm not saying that they don't get models out and produce jewelry, but yeah, you're making your life so hard by using like a monster workflow or a creature game workflow or a film workflow to try to develop models for print. And yeah, you know, it's tricky because there weren't a lot of people doing this a long time ago. So you have people who have developed workflows for other things and now are trying to learn these things that some of us have been doing, you know, like I've been doing this 13 years. And so trust me, I've been through it. I know a lot of things that work and don't work. But yeah, be careful about just hunting videos on YouTube because you get a lot of garbage information. And if you think that that's, you know, your workflow and you start doing it, you can develop some horrible habits that are going to do nothing but make your work a million times harder. And it's sad because, like I said, I get a lot of my students, you know, are trying to get a specific thing. They don't want to bother me or whatever. And they go and learn dumb things that make models very unprintable and unproducible. And so it's easy to pick up bad habits. The program asks you to overwrite a file. So what that means, so you're saving, right? Here, Control S. So I'm going to here, let's just go to desktop. Oh, that is desktop. So see, this is 18 by 18. So I save this. Boom. Now, one second. Control S. If I make this 18 by 18 2, it doesn't ask, right? So what I think is you're probably control saving and you're not changing the file name. So here, look, so Control S, it didn't change the file name. So when I save, it asks me if I want to rewrite it. So you're probably not changing your file name while you're saving. So you have to either change it or add a number to it or something like that. Tell me if that fixes it. Good night, Night Sparrow. Alrighty, so now well, if you don't want to change the file name, then you are going to be rewriting. You're going to write over this. You can't save something in two different instances with the same name, right? So you want to rewrite over it. You just don't want it to ask you every time. Well, you are overwriting. It just asks you. Yeah, I don't know if you can get rid of that. That's something that I'll ask, but I would seriously doubt you can get rid of that. I think it's a safety thing, because let me tell you, I have accidentally overwritten things I sure as hell didn't want to because I was tired. So I think that I think you're going to be hard pressed to get rid of that. I could be wrong though. I can ask tomorrow for you. No, actually, the nice thing about ZBrush is that it's really developed to use on like any machine. Now, you know, you're not going to be able to do 100 million poly models on a machine with, 3 gigs of RAM, but you will be able to open a model, so the size and complexity of the model is dictated by your processor speed and things like that. But like ZBrush does not use GRAM, so like the video cards and stuff, it doesn't use the video card as a processor, and a lot of people complain about that. But what that allows is for ZBrush to be used on less complicated, less dramatic computers. So you don't have to have, an $800 video card to be able to use ZBrush. So they've specifically developed it for that. So you should be fine. All right, Kmeet. Of course. Always, my dear. That's why I'm here. To help you. Yeah, I think... Itai, I think that you're kind of stuck with that one. I think that you might be one of 4 people in the world who really don't want to accidentally overwrite stuff. And I get it. Trust me. I mean, I understand why you'd want that. I'm just, I don't think that... And I could be wrong. Like I said, I'll ask tomorrow. If you want to email me, I'd be happy to try to find out the answer for you, because that's just something that I've never looked for. So for all I know, it could be a button, but I would doubt it. But Paul or Joseph will know, and I will gladly ask them for you. And it's very important to make noises or you're not learning ZBrush. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I know I save everything. I don't overwrite my models. I save every quick save. I save terabytes. I have terabytes of saved quick save models. But for design, as a freelance designer, I find that it's really important to be able to prove provenance, because I've had a few times where I fought copyright infringement stuff, and it's super helpful to have all that information actually. Well, that's why you're here, right? You're here to learn ZBrush. Yeah, I didn't come out of the computer world. I was a physical sculptor in the film industry, and I did my own, my art, and I did stuff for the film industry. So I was a physical sculptor, and then my friend Dave Krentz showed me ZBrush, and I was just like, oh, that's the future. I better hop on board that boat. And I bought it, and the rest is history. But yeah, I don't think it's ever too late. If anything, it's so much nicer and easier to learn now than it used to be. It was a weird program. Well, it still is a weird program in its own right. It's a very unique beast. But I'll tell you what, it's really just a wonderfully rewarding, like I was saying earlier, I've been doing this 13 years, and I was up until 6:30 this morning working on some new models, and I'm just excited. And I mean, when does that happen? Who does something 13 years and is still stoked about the program, the process, and not just the pieces, but the program? It's awesome. Yeah, what's really funny is, as a sculptor, ZBrush is sculpting. It's pressure, it's angle sensitive, it's responsive, and I'm not going to get silicosis from it, which is really rad. Because I'll tell you, clay can be really nasty if you don't keep everything damp. You can screw yourself up pretty bad, actually. You can get, basically black lung. What miners get silicosis from your clays. But yeah, here we go. I'm gonna go on my rant about black lung. Hey, how's it going? You can ask me anything you want. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer your questions and help you with your issues. Well, your sculpting issues. I'm not a very good therapist. I don't answer questions about, the gaming or film industry and stuff like that, really, because for the most part, I don't know. When I worked in the film industry, I was doing physical sculpting, not digital sculpting. So I don't know how much help I can be about things like that. But yeah, you want to know about printing and that kind of stuff. I do happen to know about that stuff for the most part. But I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Yeah, I have to admit, it's still so cool when I can stay up, all night working and just be blown away, where you're just like, wow, this is so fun. What am I seeing here? Is this not? Nope, it is. Optical illusioning myself into the ground here. How's everyone doing out there? If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. As I said, it's why I'm here. I'm restyling an old ring for new stone, and in turn, obviously changing it. A new wearer, new stone. I'd tell you what the stone type is. It's cool, but I can't remember. Something blue. Ellensworth blue or something. Yay. My kanji sucks, sorry. But as you can see, I'm not really in a race. And what I found is that, it really makes my work interesting and a little different than a lot of others, because I can really just spend time and futz with a curve. Is there a way to calculate volume? Yes, there is. Oh. Duplicate. Boop. Here I'm going to take it into its own thingy here so you can see. Append. All right, we're here. I'm going to Dynamesh this real quick. Delete. And the Dynamesh will clean that up. You just need a good shell. Remesh by Dynamesh. Delete lower. Remesh by Dynamesh. I will show you that in just 1 second. That should be fine. Let this close its holes and get everything clean. Boop. Come on. No. I'll gladly show you. I'm just right I'm in the middle of answering another question, and then as soon as this is done, we'll punch a hole in it. All right, there we go. And so drop this, check mesh integrity. All right, close holes just in case. And now, if you come up under plugins, you have to download this, but it is on Pixelogic's site. I'll show you in a second. See this Kitco metal quotes? Boop. Get metal quote. And there you go. Oh, there's a calculation off on this. This is an older version of mine. We have a newer version that doesn't. It's one of these is off, but everything else is okay. And you can see in stainless steel, you can see in palladium. This gives you the weight in grams. If you export or you save it, Kitco quote. Let's just do. Quote test. What doesn't work on your Mac? It should work on your Mac. It's not a PC plugin. And then when you, hold on, boop, let me lower this. Let me hide that. Let me hide that. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. You save as it saves out as a, what is it, CVS or whatever files. It should work fine on your Mac. It gives you ounces, grams, and penny weight. When did you download it last? Because I know Mac users using it. You may need to reinstall everything, but it should work on Mac. Okay, Vinay, we're going to go here. I'm going to punch a couple holes in this. So I'm going to append a star. I'm now going to take the star, go to W, make a cylinder, make it smooth. Well, I mean, hold on. I know that there have been iterations. Hold on, store. No. Community. Get help. Download center. Plugins. Now this is version 1.1. We have to work on, there's a newer version than this. Email me and I'll get it to you, or I'll get them to update the download because there is a newer version. But I know Mac users who use it, so it could just be a reinstalling issue. All right, Vinay, here we go. W. Let's say we want to punch a hole. This is big. Here. Drop me a line and I'll find out about that. So you notice I just take this, that's the size of hole I want. Go and drag another one over here. Boom. Okay. Q drops that. So what we have here is a hierarchy system. Okay. So you'll notice if I push this little thing, see how it says start? So start is the object that you then want to affect with the booleans. Okay, so there's a boolean subtraction, a boolean addition, and then a boolean intersection. And that's what these three things are. See, this is addition. See, you're adding the two circles. This is taking one circle from another circle. And this is leaving what's left, you know, in the intersection. So we're going to do Boolean negative, right? Boom, boom. The beautiful thing about this is that it's a live Boolean system. So we put Boolean on, and there you go. There are holes. Now, I have not committed to this Boolean yet, okay? So I can still go to this tool. We'll go to W, turn symmetry on, and now I can change the size. See how the holes are getting smaller? I can move it up here, and it's unconnected, or it's not committed yet. So I can move it around, make sure it's exact, and then I come down here, and it's make Boolean mesh. I tap that, boop, and now I have a mesh, and it has holes in it. Did that, was that clear? Need me to go over that again? Please. Here's the latest version, hoping. Feel free to pass along as needed. For the additional alloys, it's currently still only calculating the main metal for the purity. I thought we did that. Okay. So, what was it? Vinay? Did you see that and did you understand it? Cool. And so obviously that works with anything. Here, let's append. Boop. We have these numbers, right? Let's go to this. W. Let's shrink this down a little. Let's make this a little thicker. Let's bring this up here. Right, and so if we take this and then we make this intersection, so now you see it's only saving where the 1800 is hitting, or you can take that and now it's going to Boolean all that into one object. So live Boolean, whoa, That's not what I was looking for. We'll delete all of these. Okie dokie. Control N, that nonsense. Let's go back to my ring. Nope. Delete all. We don't want any of that garbage. Boop. Now frame. Boop. Right, the alloying issue. All right, so here's our groover. I am now going to Dynamesh this because I have a crappy model here. We are going to go W, turn symmetry off. Boom. Remesh by Dynamesh. Delete lower. Remesh by Dynamesh. And what do we have here? That's fine. Boop. It's one. All right. Go hide that. What are we at? All right. So now we are going to turn that. Go here. Accept. Go here. Remesh by ZRemesher. With 10,000. Okay. Boop. And let's remesh this again with ZRemesh. Yes, no problem at all. No more snow yet. There we go. Hey, hey. Come on. You can do it. ZRemesh, bad boy. How we doing, Moob? I got the yawns. Nope, you're not late. I mean, I started at 8 and it's now 1, so it's getting late, but nope, you're all good. Boom. There we go. And now you can see all that crappy geometry that was up in here. Let's look at it again. See how this is all garbage. And why I decimated first is if we just ZRemesh from here, it's going to try to keep some of this. It tries to keep the flow of the geometry that's there in its remesh. So often when I have something that's this mangled, I'll decimate it first or Dynamesh it first. And then we now have, you know, a nice clean remeshed model. And now I just divide the snot out of it. And now it's back to sculpting. So I get asked, when do I remesh a lot? And the answer to that question is when you need to. Right? This was getting sloppy. And now I can go right back. With a much cleaner geometry base that I now can work off well. Dynamesh over ZBrush, then XD. What's XD? Sorry. Well, here. I guess I can show you this. Here. Let's just go to this. Symmetry. So if, let's duplicate this, boom. If we just go straight to ZBrush, oh, now I have to turn symmetry off. Delete lower. Right. By ZBrush, we'll take the exact same geometry count and we'll do it. Now watch it do it perfect. Now but just be like, oh. Slooping in my chair. Bad. First of all, see how much longer it's taking? This is a much more complicated ZBrush because you have, well, just sloppier geometry. Where is my... 1 second. Got a little nippy in here. Gilligan's. It's a bar in Chautauqua, Wisconsin. All right, so you see how much longer this is already thinking. You know, it's working really hard to try to figure it out. So you can see that this is a much more complicated process than after the Dynamesh. Come on. I thought I was going to make a point. I guess I have. All right. 1 o'clock in the morning, I don't have the patience for this. So you can see that already it's a pain in the butt. So, yeah. I don't know if that answered the question, because I can't show you. Well, I'm not going to wait a half hour for it to chug through that and figure it out. Delete. All right. Back to right, symmetry. I'm very bad about remembering to turn symmetry back on after I've done things. See, it's gotten late. My support crew is passed out. I'm not getting fresh warm tea anymore. What the hell? Need to have a talk with my support crew. That's not what I wanted to do. And it's always good to hide geometry that you're trying to get around. I'm so jealous. Paul and Joseph and Shane, everyone's going to the New York Toy Fair this year. And unfortunately, I was scheduled to do a different trade show. And I got sick and I didn't do it. And I was just like, there's no way we can do everything at once. And then early next month, we're going to be in Thailand. And it's just too much to keep up with. Next year, though, we will definitely be at the Toy Fair in New York. Really want to go to the big Toy Fair in Tokyo. The big figure Wonderfest is the big figure show in Tokyo. Definitely a need to go. All right. Now, as you'll notice, I'm not making this super flat, right? And you'll see that we've added this is fairly wide, because this is going to be a big stone, and it's a fairly large ring for a small hand. So this is where the friction of it wearing is, but by pulling it up off the surface over here, it allows it to wear much more comfortably, because when it's this big and sort of standing off the finger this much, you want to make sure that there's plenty of room for movement. So That's why this is not a sharp edge, but like a nice curve coming up, because that'll allow the ring to rock on the finger front to back without biting into the finger. So these nice saddle shapes really are helpful when you're when you have a larger ring, because larger rings they wear differently, and wear and how they move is different than a tiny, like a band or something. So you really can't design them to be the same. You have to really consider what and how your piece wears. Wearability. Ah, the joys. Everyone out there, how are we doing tonight, guys and gals? Once again, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm more than willing to take an excursion into answering your questions if you need be. I love when I get Twitch notices while I'm on Twitch. You have gone live. Thanks. Pinch. Get that in line. I know. Right? All right. Yeah, it's getting on. It's almost 1:30. All right, kind and gentle folk, I think I'm going to be heading out here fairly soon. So if you have any questions you feel like you need answered right now, hop on it. Think of something. And then I'd be happy to answer them. And if not, that's cool too. Sure. Oop. Boom. Sphere. I'm just going to use a sphere if that's okay. Let's divide this up. Duplicate. Divide, divide, divide. No, escape. I might have hit divide a few times too many. We don't need 61 million polys on this to show you this. Lower res. Alright. Alright. So I have that. And I have this with higher res. Drop that. Just remember that your surface is ground zero, right? You're like, hey, I've made this wonderful comma. And I've applied my clay tubes. And I'm getting to where I want to be. Alright, now we're gonna Yep. In non-planar symmetry. I don't know exactly what you mean. I mean, you know, there are the symmetry tools. And there is, hold on. Right, so you have this wonderful guy. So you just want that. So once again, up, start, Boolean, live Boolean. Oh. Is that what you mean? And you can come in here and use like slash or orbs and really come in and clean this up. Right. So just take the original surface and